You are now tuning in to Kickspot with Jinu Park and Migs.
And we're back. What's going on, everybody? We are here at the Kickspot here, and this is a special version of Kickspot. If you're watching on YouTube, you will see that there are a bunch of guests in the house. And typically within our format, we have questionnaires that happen with the new guest. We're going to have to save that for next time. We apologize because we like to put them on the spot.
Because we got too many people.
We got too many people in the house here. And we're just going to go right into it, and we're going to talk about the NBA 2.0 version.
Back.
And we are all excited about the NBA,
Yes.
right?
Can we introduce our special guest?
Yes, we can. So we're going to go from the furthest away to the closest, and we've got the man in the house from all the way from Jakarta. He flew in just to do
Did you say
this.
Jakarta?
Jakarta, Indonesia.
Oh, Indonesia.
Indonesia. We've got Henry in the house here.
What's happening, guys? Thank you for having me.
Henry.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then we've also got the guy from the streets of Orange County here.
Orange County.
Very, very far here. We're going to give a shout out to Vic.
What's happening, y'all?
Victor
Victor
Gomez.
Victor Gomez. And then if you guys have been watching our past episode, you have seen this man. He goes by the name of Franco.
Gucci, what's up?
Oh, he's back, y'all.
He's back. He's back on another
y'all.
NBA edition here.
Oh, man.
And so we're going to go right into the NBA 2.0 version. What is that? So recently they've decided to open back the season with 22 teams invited into the bubble. 8 best records got to stay in the nicer hotel, right? And then the next 8 got to stay in the medium one. And then the 6th one, it's called the Yacht Club. It still sounds very, very nice.
Yacht
man.
But the next 6 teams after that got to stay there. The rules there, 3 meals a day, and then on game day they get 4 meals. Trainers, barbers, manicurists, pedicurists, and hair braiders are allowed in the bubble, but no pets.
No pets.
Unfortunately.
Sounds like a 2K game.
Yeah, no pets. The extracurricular activities available in the facility here: ping pong, just no doubles.
No doubles.
No doubles. Fishing, video games, golfing, and excursions to the animal kingdom.
So can they use Disney World at all?
No, they can't. Just the animal kingdom. Obviously, they want to practice as much social distancing as possible. Some strict guidelines that they have: masks worn at all times off the court. Regular COVID testing, as we see online.
Is that daily?
Daily, yes. And a couple times throughout the day as well, too, depending on if you're going on the practice courts or if you're not. You can leave the bubble, but
For what reasons?
But the strict rule is that
Williams.
Actually, they didn't announce like that there has to be a specific rule. It's up to you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really based off of you, but you'll have a mandatory 10-day quarantine.
When you come
Right,
back.
so if you're an NBA player, obviously you're not going to want to go out.
Yeah.
If you're a coach, you can probably do whatever you want to. And then teams will have 7 courts to practice on. If you want extra practice, it is on appointment base only. And the key thing I think is that players can actually view other players playing, which is pretty. I think. I mean, if
That's great.
if you're like a guy like Kobe, I mean, like he would have been.
Yeah, half the Blazers were watching the Clipper Laker game.
Everybody.
yesterday, You know?
So how the games work, each team plays 8 seeding games over the next 2 weeks. If the 8th and 9th seed is 4 games of each other, they will play a play-in tournament game August 15th and 16th, and then the playoffs officially start on August 17th on Monday. So we're excited about that. But just right before the NBA started, I do want to bring up that if you're looking at the courts, there's Black Lives Matter all over the court. You got to see some of the jerseys, different names, different. Alex
some mission
Caruso
statements
had,
in there.
had
Different
some
meaning
statements.
behind it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are you guys' thoughts on what the NBA is doing and what are they representing?
I think it's great. Because with the NBA and the players, they have such a huge voice that is heard not only here in the U.S. but globally. It's the NBA has grown within the last 20 years internationally, and you have a lot more European players now coming over, and the game is being played, just in many other countries now. So I think it's they're using their power now of social media and by just using different variations of like names on their jerseys. I think it's great.
What are your thoughts, Franco?
I agree. I mean, I think it's important, especially with what's going on right now and how divided the country is. Very important for these guys to, yes, you're playing, but you don't want to take the focus away from what's happening in real life for some people, right? So I think it's a key thing to keep that in mind. I know some big players chose not to do it. I think Kawhi, LeBron, I don't remember.
Paul George.
I think Anthony Davis did as well.
Anthony
Right,
Davis.
but they have their own reasons and they have their own platforms that they're going to use. So keep doing what you're doing and obviously don't lose sight of what's important.
So, Henry, in your opinion, could this go wrong? There's obviously people that also don't support Black Lives Matter. Could this turn the other direction?
I don't think so. I mean, I think this is a good starting point for the Black Lives Matter movement, and I think it's just gonna take off, and it's gonna show the world that hey, this Black Lives Matter, and just shows solidarity that everybody's in it together. So.
I'm just going to add, if it goes wrong in the sense of, it's going to turn people off of watching the NBA or hating the NBA, you know what? We don't want those people watching.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, Migs, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think this is the reason why we wanted to bring up this conversation, and Gina was very passionate about bringing up this conversation. This is also why this league is the greatest league of all sports, and we have the GOAT commissioner. Shout out to Adam Silver, sponsor us. But no, in all seriousness, he's able to not only understand the players in his league, right? But he's letting them express a lot of things. And there was a little bit of a backlash when some players didn't agree with some of the statements in the back. But I was thinking about it. I was like, NFL wouldn't do that. MLB wouldn't do that. So I was like, for Adam Silver to be able to give you a platform and let you kind of at least show a sense of, support for whatever movement you want to believe in and put it on your back, I mean, that was completely huge,
And what about the future of other leagues? What do you? Because this obvious, in my opinion, it stemmed off from the NFL with Colin Kaepernick obviously taking a knee.
Yep.
And then all hell broke loose with what he was representing with police brutality and all that too. And then now you see the Black Lives Matter movement just growing really big. But what about from now on? Your opinions, just open format of what's going to happen with other leagues. Do you think they'll take that trend, or?
I think, in my opinion, with the NBA, they're setting the new standard, I believe, going forward. Again, the NBA has grown so much from, how it first started, many years ago. But I think in today's time, as Migs mentioned, with Adam Silver, he's in tune with his players, with like the team owners, and with the league,
and just with the
overall.
world, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And I think they are the example that the other leagues should start kind of like modeling their leagues after their organizations. Because if you look at, for example, for the MLB, right now you have half the roster of the Marlins who has COVID. And obviously, it's much easier to put into a bubble with basketball players because we're able to play the majority of their games for the rest of the season in one spot. But, with MLB, they have to travel to other ballparks and teams have to still travel. So, I think, again, going back, to your question, I think the NBA is going to be like that new standard going forward, I believe. Obviously, there's still going to be some kinks that they have to work out, but I think overall, I think this is like a good starting point for the other leagues to kind of keep notice on.
Anybody else?
No, I agree. I mean, he's setting the pace, he being Adam Silver. He's setting the pace. Roger Goodell, Rob Manfred, the other commissioners, they have way too many scandals on their resume, but the owners are the ones that keep them there. And if you look at those sports, the owners have a lot more say. Where in the NBA, the owners work with their players for the most part, right? And the other thing is, it just brings exposure to a bigger base by doing this. Whereas when Colin Kaepernick was doing it, there was still a lot of hate towards Black Lives Matter. And people weren't really understanding what was going on to African Americans by way of the police or law enforcement, whatever. And now, unfortunately, with what happened with George Floyd, it's on a much bigger scale because more people are at home because of the pandemic. There's more exposure to it, and it's important to, as players and as a league, to make sure that they are doing their part for society.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, my view is that I'm not exactly sure if soccer is still, or football around the world is still the number one sport, or if basketball took that over. But obviously, this is the world sport, in my opinion, and it has expanded worldwide. So I'm glad to see that they are taking a stance with something not just in America, but really just all around the world. So
Yeah.
So if I could just comment on that, is in England they started kneeling before the matches, the Premier League.
it's beautiful.
And it's crazy because there's still a lot of racism there.
Yeah.
But they saw what was going on across the pond, and they're like, that is horrible. Like, at least our cops aren't doing that. So, not saying all cops are bad. Again, that's a whole different thing. But other sports are in solidarity with what's going on here. And so they, a lot of teams were kneeling. Players were, celebrating goals by raising the right fist. So, very important, movement as far as that goes.
Yeah, cool. So great leadership.
Yep. So now we're gonna get into the meat and potatoes of our topic here, which is the NBA in itself. Obviously, that was a good perspective to have. Appreciate that, fellas. But now we're gonna talk about the teams that are in the bubble, right? So currently we have how many? 22 teams, right?
22.
There's 9 in the East, and then there's 13 in the West. That 22, that's 22. Yes. So
Good math.
right now, currently, one of the hot topics of our NBA season is who is going to make the 8th seed. I mean, let's talk about the Wizards. I mean, I don't think John Wall's not playing. So if they make it, they make it. I don't think they'll catch Orlando, right? Unless you guys have any thoughts on the Wizards.
Well,
Vic, do you have any
I
thoughts
think
on
to
the
like
Wizards?
add on top of that too, I think Bradley Beal isn't playing.
Yeah.
As far as I remember. So that's two of their star players that aren't playing.
That's just, should we even go over about the Wizards? I mean, Henry, any,
They need to, man.
do you have any thoughts, Henry? Do you have any thoughts?
I mean, without those 2 star players, I don't think the Wizards can make it at all. I mean,
Okay.
they got very young.
Shabazz Napier won't it make an impact?
No, man. He's
Franco's like
he's a good role player, in my opinion.
Rui Hachimura.
I like
He's
him.
a rookie.
I like
I mean, I like Rui. Gino, what do you think of
But
Rui?
he can't.
I like Rui.
That's a lot to put on the shoulders on a rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's facts.
absolutely.
That's a lot. But I mean, the Wizards have good complementary pieces there. They just need their roster.
They
like,
need the 2
healthy.
people that are not playing.
Full strength.
Yeah, I mean, Rui, great rookie, right? I think top rebounder as far as rookies are concerned. Before the pandemic hit, but I don't think they're gonna catch the Magic. I think the Magic are still too stacked. So we'll let the East be. But the bigger conversation and the debate will happen regarding the West, regarding
West
the West 8 seed, right? So who do we have on the 8 seed right now, Henry? Who do we have?
The Grizzlies.
Okay, Franco. Who is buying in? Which other teams are buying in for that 8 seed right now?
Portland,
Okay, who else?
Spurs,
Okay.
Kings,
Okay.
Suns.
And
Blanket on the last one.
you're missing like the most
Oh,
important
the
one.
Pelicans.
Okay. How do you miss Zion?
There we go.
And obviously, that's a pretty tough. I think they're within 4.5 to 6 games back from Memphis,
Yep.
right? And yesterday we had a game. I'm sorry. Today we had a game. It was Portland and Memphis today, and Portland ended up winning. So Memphis is a half game back. Also, Portland gained a half game on them, and then New Orleans lost yesterday as well
Against the Jazz.
against the Jazz. So, first question, first debate, Vic, who do you think? I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Do you think any of the 5 teams that are buying in for the 8th seed will knock off the Memphis Grizzlies?
As a Laker fan, it's hard for me to even say this, but I think it would be the Blazers. The Blazers, with the restart right now, they have all their players. They have Damian Lillard, they have McCollum, they just got back Nurkic, and they also got back Zach Collins. with the addition of
Oh,
Trevor
so-
Ariza and Carmelo, which Carmelo slimmed down during this,
Ariza's out.
Slim
Oh,
Melo.
is Ariza still out? Oh, okay.
Yeah, Ariza's out.
Still, you still have your at least starting 5 right there, and that's scary. If they're all firing on all their cylinders, I think that's a team to watch out for.
All right, so bringing it into Franco. Franco, thoughts on the Pelicans making the 8th seed and knocking off the Grizz?
I'm sorry, JJ Redick, but
That's
your
a-
streak is
You guys know about that streak, right?
No.
21 years, including high school,
No, 21. Yeah, 21
high
years
school,
and doing-
college, and NBA
Wow.
combined. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's too hard. Bringing in Zion, trying to incorporate him in the offense and in the scheme. Plus, he's on a minutes requirement limit again. I think it's very hard. Very hard. And I don't think the Pelicans can do it. The
Okay.
Blazers are back at full strength pretty much. I
And
agree.
so, question to Henry: out of the Kings, Spurs, and the Suns, who has the best chance out of the 3 teams that can knock off the Pelicans, Blazers, and the Grizz and will make it? That's a tough feat, but if just to play around, who out of that 3 teams at the bottom, who can make it? Who do you think?
Oh man, I would
Just
have
to
to
play
say the Spurs.
Yeah, right answer.
Right, and Pop.
Spurs,
Okay,
man. Pop is a
What's
genius.
the
Can't go against
reason?
him.
What's
Pop,
the
man,
reason?
Pop is genius, man. I mean, if you look at his offense, it flows so smooth, and he can always get the game under control.
But are you taking into consideration that they don't have Marcus Aldridge right now because he's out?
That's a good point.
That's a good
But
point to have.
yes, still actually,
Still.
when I think about it, yeah.
Okay.
The Marcus Aldridge, I don't think is a.
you got Devin Booker with the Suns. I mean, that dude
Stop.
can light up any team right now. I'm just saying.
DeAndre Ayton was kind of cooking just
Yeah.
during the scrimmages. Just saying.
For the scrimmage, yeah, no one cares.
Yeah.
All right, JP. Do you think the Grizzlies are gonna get knocked off the 8th seed?
I do. I actually believe Portland.
Portland.
Well, will take them over. I don't think with Zion's restriction, I think they need Zion to be able to take the 8th seed. If Zion was playing more, I would say Pelicans.
Do we think that Zion is gonna play? You think Alvin Gentry is gonna increase that minutes to like 20, 25? He's at 15 minutes. He was at 15 minutes yesterday.
I think he should.
I think he should. I don't
If
think
they
he
want
will.
a realistic shot. I think they should.
I don't think he will though. Just looking at Zion's interview, you could tell that he wanted to play more, and he's not talking bad about the.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He didn't want to say the wrong.
He didn't
thing.
want to say anything
Yeah.
bad, but you knew he wanted to play, and he's just following instructions. And they're looking for longevity, and they've got such a young roster right now that they want to be able to fulfill that for the next few years.
Exactly. Young
And so
roster
I don't
with full
think
of talent.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to. I think they have a chance for a championship in the future, but I think Portland will take it. Experience as well too with Dame. I mean, I
Can't count him out.
and they're from the Pacific Northwest. I mean, I'm wearing my Sean Kemp Sonics jersey.
They're the
in
only team you guys
house.
have left.
Come on, man. Yes.
Dwindling.
So Dame Dollar all the way. I can't go against Dame, so I'm going with Portland.
That is a very, again, great input, fellas. That's a topic we can debate on for another 2 hours, I think.
Yours though.
What?
What do you have?
Yeah.
Oh, for me, I'm going for the Pels, and I'll say why. I'll say why. Not because of the JJ Redick streak going to continue. That's not it. Even though I love JJ, I think they just skill wise, I think they have a better bench than Memphis. I think shooting is better than Memphis. The key is Lonzo to me.
Yeah.
If Lonzo can average and shoot over 45% in just field goals, shoots over 37% in threes, and I think he's at over 40 currently, right, at 3 points with Lonzo.
Yeah.
He ended.
Is he really?
Yeah, at least.
pretty
That's
high,
shocking
yeah.
to me.
So no, or either he was at above 40 the last like 10 game stretch that he had before the season
But before
ended.
the season came to a suspension, he was doing really well with his
Right.
3-point shooting.
I mean, they have Derek Favors, they have Jackson,
They have Brandon Ingram.
Brandon
yeah.
Ingram.
they have Bi All-Star. That's the reason why, and they have JJ Redick. That's the reason why I think
Holiday
the
too.
Pels. But it's the Pels or Portland that's gonna knock off Memphis. Like Portland, you got 2 All-Stars pretty much. Just like what you guys said, they have all their bigs coming back.
They're experienced in the playoffs.
They're experiencing the playoffs. They came to from Western Conference Finals last year. They were just hurt this year. Nurk is back. You know, so it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be fun to see. It's gonna be fun to watch, but that's gonna be a very, very tough one.
So going along with this conversation, out of the East and West, which player do you think will have the most impact?
Ooh, here we go.
The most impact.
Here we go.
So Vic, I'm gonna start off with you.
Which, for both East and West, that's gonna have the most impact. Well, again, I'm a Laker fan, diehard. So, as much as I want to say LeBron, because LeBron is leading the team right now in assists, and he's the motor for that team, you got to go with Anthony Davis. If he gets injured, that's gonna put the Lakers at a very big loss as far as keeping up. After watching last night's game against the Clippers, go Lakers. AD, he put up like 34 points. Like, he was a beast, and this is like the first game of the restart.
Because Montrez wasn't playing.
Yeah. So you got AD in the West.
So I got AD in the West,
East.
and then in the East.
Would you like me to remind you of the teams of the East?
Oh, oh no, I know my teams.
That's how much confidence we have in the East.
Did we forget about the East?
I'm gonna go with the dark horse on this one. I'm gonna go with the Raptors with Pascal Siakam.
Ooh, that's a great one.
You know, because obviously with the
That's
Raptors
a
losing
great
Kawhi to the Clippers, you know, Pascal really took that next step forward with the Raptors this season. And I think that, you know, if the Raptors are going to advance to where they want to be, he's going to have to show up and be that man, as he's shown throughout the season.
That's a great one, bud.
All right, Henry, your thoughts? What do you got in the East and the West?
See, let's go with the East first. I would say Giannis, because without Giannis, Bucks is just. I think they're trash without Giannis.
You think they're
They don't
trash?
have anyone else.
I don't know.
Who else they have
Bro.
other than George Hill? Who else?
Yo, they have a solid squad.
Middleton.
You have Chris Middleton.
But he
Bledsoe.
he
You
can't
got
carry though.
Bledsoe, if he's healthy and firing all
If
cylinders
he's
as well.
healthy, right?
You got
Hey.
DiVincenzo.
Oh,
Come on,
Vincenzo.
bro.
Vincenzo.
yo, you got Brook Lopez in his threes. I mean,
Come on,
Yo,
man. Put
that's-
some
that's a solid
respect. Put
squad.
some respect, bro.
it's not like LeBron back with the Cavs in 07, where if you took him out, that team's trash. But with the Bucks, man, that's a solid squad.
All right, who
All right,
else?
so Henry, you got Giannis.
Giannis.
Even though you
I
got
respect.
trashed about talking about the team.
I'm just saying.
Giannis. Okay, your choice. And then West.
West, I would have to say Kawhi.
Okay.
I'm biased too, but without Kawhi, I feel like the flow, the offensive flow is just off, man. They can't. It's not under control. They're just playing street ball. They just don't have a set play, and I think they're just in disarray without Kawhi. So
Okay.
you need him there.
All right. Franco, East first.
East. I'm gonna go with the big man in Philadelphia.
Oh, that's a good one,
Yeah.
bro.
The
Joel?
Sixers. Yes, Joel. The
Ooh-wee.
Sixers will only go as far as he takes them,
Facts.
regardless of Ben Simmons.
Facts.
If he's gonna show up, then he'll dictate.
Facts.
These next 8 games will really dictate what Philadelphia does.
They got to feed the big man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in the West, I'm going to go with, I hate to say it, but PG-13. He's been killing it in scrimmages. He killed it last night again. And these next 8 games, Kawhi's going to Kawhi.
Yeah, Kawhi's gonna be quiet.
It's going to be based on what Paul George does. If he can get that tag of in the playoffs, he doesn't come through, then they'll go a long way.
Okay.
I like how all you guys gave the players in the way, and then when you guys spoke about their impact, it's just crazy how mindsets are just so different. Because I feel like some people thought from the best teams, and then it's like who can really out of that play that you don't have to be the best player of that team, but who's gonna make an impact for that team to win the championship. Like I love how you guys all put that together.
Yeah.
So
Migs, your thoughts? East first.
I'm gonna go Jason Tatum, Boston Celtics.
That's a good one.
The only reason why I say that is because we've seen him grow, the past couple seasons. This was a breakout year for him.
Yep.
He's got a supporting cast with Kemba. We just saw Marcus Smart hitting threes today, if he can consistently do that. But I think he's the glue and he's the catalyst that can either take them to the Eastern Conference Finals and maybe have a shot of beating Milwaukee if they get there. But then again, you said Joel Embiid. I mean, that's tough, right? Like those two are, But for me on the East, it's him. And then for the West, I'm not gonna choose any from my squad, the Clippers. I will say most impactful will be Russ. Like if Russ could finally get over the hump of playing with another superstar, and how he plays off of James. We'll see how the Houston Rocket does, but I think Russ is gonna explode a little bit further than he's ever have with James Harden with that explosive offense. I think he's gonna make the biggest impact on the West. What about you, JP?
Good.
I have Giannis for the East.
Okay.
I just think that, I mean, he flopped during the playoffs, but I think that puts a lot of pressure on him. I think he's learned from that, and as somebody that's a young talent that has so much potential right now, I mean, up for debate on like just MVP caliber as well too, but I just think that he's going to make the biggest impact because of his experience. And for the West, I also have Russell Westbrook.
Oh,
And
okay.
my logic behind this is based off the fans. I think that when I watch the games, there are certain players that play off very, very well with crowd reactions. And without the reactions, there's a lot of players. I'm biased to this too. Like, I think LeBron plays very well with fans. I think without fans, he's just kind of like he's a great player regardless, but he just has that extra oomph. And someone like Westbrook, he doesn't need that. He just already has that Mamba mentality. And those players regular pickup game, they're giving 100%, regardless of the fans.
That's a great perspective.
And so,
that's great.
Definitely.
So Westbrook to me is, out of all the players, I think he's going to make the biggest impact out of everybody just because he's just that type of player in his personality.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So no, I mean, great perspective, fellas. We're gonna have a lot more topic to talk about. But what we're gonna do right now, we're gonna take a short break. The next part is gonna be actually pretty amazing. We're gonna have a Kickspot NBA Awards edition.
It's our first annual.
Like this.
Oh, that's right.
Like this.
NBA Awards. They're gonna pick two from each category, and then we're all gonna vote to see who the winner is from the Kickspot episode of who we think is gonna win those awards. So stay tuned. We're gonna be right back.
Stay tuned.
You are listening to Kickspot.